This will be a complete video tutorial where I'm going to teach you how to implement an in-app purchasing feature in your Android app by using a RevenueCat SDK. We will go step by step, and at the end I will also show you how to integrate the Firebase Firestore to save customers and events information. Thanks to RevenueCat for sponsoring this video, by the way. RevenueCat is a comprehensive and flexible solution for managing in-app purchases, customer data, and grow revenue on iOS, Android, and the web. RevenueCat provides a subscription backend and a wrapper around the Apple's Store Kit, Google Play billing, and web-based payments. With the RevenueCat dashboard, you can remotely configure in-app products and pricing so that you can make changes without in-app updates. They have recently announced remotely configurable Paywall templates that allows you to use and configure pre-made UI templates for your products. You can update their look inside the dashboard without updating the whole application itself. The great thing is that you can use RevenueCat for free to a certain extent. And once you reach 2,500 of revenue per month, only then you can pay 1%, which is quite reasonable. Anyhow, they also offer a bunch of useful features and integrations, so be sure to check their website for more information. Now, in this video tutorial, I'm going to show you step by step how to integrate this same SDK and implement that in your Android application. The first step is to sign up and create an account on the official RevenueCat website. So go to the revenuecat.com and sign up if you haven't already. After that, create a new project, enter your project name and press Create Project button. The next step is to choose a Play Store option. Next, we need to fill in some information: the name of our application and the package name of our project. You can open up the Android Studio to find that second information. Also, I will soon introduce you with this demo project of mine, so don't worry. The third step is to add a service account credentials JSON file, which we do need to generate. Down below you can see one link which will lead you to a well-documented page that describes this whole process of obtaining that JSON file. So basically, with this step, we want to provide certain permissions to RevenueCat so that they can communicate with Google Play Android Developer API in our name. Next, we need to configure Play Service credentials, which is why we need to open up a Google Cloud Platform console and create a new project there. This whole process is a bit longer, but once you set up everything you need, then you're good to go. But remember, it can take up to 36 hours for your Play Service credentials to work properly with a Google Play Developer API, which is why you may encounter errors while trying to make a purchase. Okay, so now open up the API console and create a new project. Give your project a name and click Create. After your project has been created, open up those two links from this documentation, like a Google Play Android Developer API page and a Google Play Developer Reporting API page as well. Next, enable both of them in your Google Cloud Platform project. After that, you will be redirected to a new page where you're going to see a button Create Credentials. Click on it. According to the documentation, we need to select a Google Play Android Developer API, and below that, I'm going to choose Application Data. Click Next. Now we need to create a service account, and according to the documentation, we need to give a name to this service account and also provide two roles: pub/subadmin and monitoring views. So let's go back and fill in the name. Then click Create and Continue. Now select those two roles that I have mentioned earlier, pub/subadmin and monitoring views. Click Continue. We can skip the third step and click Done. After that, we need to open service accounts from the menu, and we will see that account that we have just created. Click those three dots on the right side and choose Manage Keys. On this new page, we need to create a new key, so click that button and choose JSON as an option. Click Create, and that JSON file will be automatically downloaded on your PC. The next step is to open up a Play console, create an application, and provide permissions to our new service account. But before that, go back to the RevenueCat dashboard and let's upload that JSON file that we have just generated. Click a Save button, and there you go. We have successfully configured the Google Cloud Platform project along with our service account. Now we need to open up a Play console and create a new application. I'm not going to go in details and explain how to create an account and verify that the same account on a Play console, but basically you do need to fill in some information and pay $25 of a developer fee, I think, and then after that your account will be verified. So go to play.google.com/console and create a new application. I have already done that, which is why I'm going to skip that step. After you create your application, you can upload your APK or a bundle file as an alpha version in a closed testing page. That way, you can experiment before you publish your application publicly. Finally, after that, go to the All Apps page, choose Users and Permissions option, and there we need to provide some permissions so that our service account can interact with our application on our behalf. On that new page, click three dots on the right side and choose Invite New Users. Now we need to select our application. And if you check the documentation again, you will see which account permissions we need to specify. Let's go back, choose Account Permission tab, and check those same permissions. After that, we need to scroll all the way on the top and write the email address of our service account. Go back to our Google Cloud platform and just copy the email address. Go back, paste the email, and click Invite User button. That's it. Now, if you go back to your RevenueCat dashboard, move your mouse cursor down below. If you are not seeing three check marks, it probably means that you need to wait until your alpha release has been approved on a Play Store, and you may need to wait up to 36 hours for your Play service credentials to work properly with the Google Play Developer API. Also, be sure to check the official documentation about troubleshooting options if you have some more issues. Alright, the next step is to create products that we want to sell in our application. In this case, we are going to add two of them. The first one will be a one-time purchase product, and the second one will be a subscription-based product. When creating a product, there are two options. We can do either from a RevenueCat dashboard or from the Play console. I'm going to choose Play console this time, create those products, and then import them in a RevenueCat dashboard. After you open up your application in a Play console, scroll down below and you will find a Products category. First, let's add a one-time purchase product. Click In-App Products. I have already made some products for testing purposes, but never mind that. Click Create Product button, and first we need to set a product ID. This ID must start with a number or a lowercase letter and can contain numbers, lowercase letters, underscores, and periods. Remember that you cannot change or reuse a product ID after the product has been created. Then set the name and a description of that product as well. Scroll down below and click Set Price button. Use your local currency to generate local prices for your application in other countries. Also, this default price does not include tax. Click Apply Prices button and finally click Save button. Great! We have successfully created the first product. Now let's add a subscription. Click Create Subscription button. Specify the product ID and the name. And click Create. Next, we need to add some additional information. Click Add Subscription Benefits. Add a description and specify which benefits you are offering. Click Save Changes button. Then choose Add Base Plan option. Write the base plan ID and choose one of the available subscription types as well. After that, you can add optional tags down below and click Set Prices button. Check all countries and specify the price of your subscription plan. That's it. Now we have successfully created the products that we are going to display in our application. After that, go back to the RevenueCat dashboard and let's import those same products. Choose Products page, click New button, select your application, and click Import Products. Now select both of those products that we have created and click Import button. Perfect. Now let's open up the Entitlements page and create a new entitlement. Add a name and a description. Click Add button and now select that same entitlement so that we can add our products inside it. The next thing, open up the Offerings page and we want to create a new offering. After that, open up that default offering and let's add our products. The first offering will be for a monthly based subscription and the second one will be for a one-time purchase of our product. Awesome! The last thing that we need to do is to create a paywall. So this is an optional step, but it's a great way to easily implement the UI and the logic of the purchase flow in our application. So let's click Add Paywall button. And from here we need to choose one of the pre-made templates for our paywall. In this case, I'm going to select that second one because it looks like a great way to display two different products. Here we have a couple of different sections to fill in for our paywall. First, select the images and we can add a background image as well as the icon. Those are optional steps, but I am going to choose only an icon. Next, select the main content and fill in the information about the title and the subtitle as well. We can also update a background colors for both a light and a dark theme. In the top right corner, you have a display settings where you can toggle an option to see how your paywall will look like in a dark mode as well, which is a great thing. Then, in the packages section, we can add a couple of different packages and connect them with our products. Then, down below, we have a bunch of different options to choose what kind of information we want to display in those same package items. There are some predefined variables that we can use for that matter as well. And below that, we can also update the colors of those packages. Next, select Call to Action section, and here we can customize the button. You can use a dark mode to decide which color will fit the best in your paywall as well. And the last section is footer links. By default, we are displaying a restore button, which will allow us to restore the purchases associated with our account. But you can always add additional link as well. After that, we can now save our paywall. Oops, we have forgot to specify the text for our call to action button. Let's do that quickly. Perfect. Now click Create button. Wow, so this whole setup process took a while. But I assure you that once you complete this whole process, everything will be easier afterwards. I think that now we are ready to start implementing in-app purchase in our Android app. So let's open up the Android Studio. First, I'm going to introduce you with this little demo project, and then we are going to go step by step. Let's start with apps module Grail file. So here we have two dependencies for a RevenueCat. And the second one is for a Paywall UI components. We have a Firebase authentication because we are going to authenticate our users. And also at the end I will show you how to integrate Firebase Firestore with RevenueCat so that all your customer data along with the purchase events can be stored inside the database. Next, we have a Firebase Analytics and OneTap Compose, which is my library that allows you to easily integrate OneTap sign-in with Google in your application. The only plugin that I have added here besides those two is Google GMS Google Services. Then, in the main activity, we are dynamically calculating the start destination of our application based on whether a user has already been authenticated or not. Next, this is our screen class, and we have 4 destinations in total. The authentication screen allows us to sign in our users. In our home screen, we have only one button on the center that will take us to a paywall screen. And inside that paywall screen, we're going to display those 2 products to our users and allow them to make a purchase. The last screen here is a status screen, where we are going to display a purchase history for the user account and also whether our current user is currently subscribed as well. With that status logic, you can also decide whether to display a premium content to your users or not. Alright, so that was a brief introduction with the project. Now let's initialize a RevenueCat SDK in our application. For that purpose, you need to create a class and inherit the application class. We need to override the onCreate function and configure and initialize the RevenueCat along with the API key. You can find the API key of your application by opening a RevenueCat dashboard and selecting the API keys option from the left side. You need to associate your users by specifying their user ID in the purchase configuration. In most cases, you will not know a user ID information when a user starts the application, which means you need to pass that user ID after a successful user authentication. In that case, you can call a login with function after a user authenticates and then pass that user ID. I will show you that later as well. Now, after you have created this application class, be sure to include it in the Android manifest file as well. Alright, perfect. Next, let's start with the authentication screen. So in our authentication screen, we have only one Google button that when pressed will allow us to actually trigger that OneTap sign-in API and sign in our user with a Google provider. But before we start with the authentication screen, we need to create oAuth credentials on a Google Cloud platform because we're going to need that information for the Firebase authentication as well as a OneTap sign-in library. Open up the Google Cloud platform, go to the APIs and services, and choose credentials. Click Create Credentials button and choose oAuth Client ID. A message will appear saying that we need to configure a consent screen before that. So let's do that. On this page, choose External and click Create. Next, we need to enter the application name. I'm going to copy this project ID and paste it here. Then choose User Support Email. Scroll down below, enter a developer contact email address and click Save and Continue. Here we don't have to add anything, so just click Save and Continue. Here as well, click Save and Continue. Scroll down below and click Back to Dashboard. Now let's go back to Credentials page and create a new oAuth client ID. We need to create two of them, one for the web and the other for Android. Now choose Web and click Create. We need to copy this client ID of the web oAuth client because we are going to need it later for the Firebase and one-tap sign-in with Google. So let's go back to our project and create a new constant. Also, while we are here, we could create a new constant for the API key as well. Perfect. Now copy the package name of your project because we need that information for the second Android client ID. Go back, create a new credential, this time for Android, paste the package name, and we need to generate a SHA-1 certificate fingerprint. Let's go back to Android Studio, select the Gradle icon on the right side, click Execute the Gradle task icon, and enter Gradle sign-in report command to generate the fingerprint. Wait a little bit, and then copy and paste that value. Click Create. Perfect. Alright, so next we need to create a project on a Firebase console, so that we can set up an authentication in our application. For that purpose, we can also reuse the same project from a Google Cloud platform. Open the console.firebase.google.com and click New Project. Click on this drop-down and you will see your Google Cloud Platform project that we have already made. Select that one and click Continue. If you are seeing this message about a billing plan, just add one and click Confirm. Then click Continue. You can enable Google Analytics and continue. Create a new Analytics account here. Then check this checkbox on the bottom and click Add Firebase. Wait a little bit and you will be redirected to your dashboard. Remember, you can always integrate a Firebase authentication with a few clicks. From the Android Studio, of course. But since I have already added that necessary dependency and a plugin, I'm going to skip that. Okay, so now click Build and then Authentication. Click Get Started button and we are going to open up the page where we need to enable a Google Provider sign-in option. Now toggle the Enable button and we need to add the information about the client ID and the secret. Go back to a Google Cloud platform and copy those same informations from the web client. Okay, so we need to click Save button first and then we will be able to update those fields. But now you will notice that suddenly new values appeared here. How is that possible? Well, the first time you enable a Google provider here, a new web client will be automatically generated in your Google Cloud project. So let's go back to remove that one and use the original web client ID that we have made on our own. Go back and paste those values. Awesome! We have successfully configured the authentication with the Google provider. In this Users tab, we will see all new users that are going to authenticate in our application. Let's go to Android Studio, and inside the onTokenID received lambda, I'm going to add the code to authenticate with a Firebase by passing a token ID that we are going to get from this one-tap sign-in API. After that function returns a successful result, then we are going to call a login with function that I have mentioned at the beginning, so that we can actually pass an authenticated user ID to the RevenueCat SDK in order to associate our user with that same library. And if that second logic returns a successful result, then and only then we are going to navigate to a home screen. Oh, and I have forgot to add a Google Services JSON file in my project. So if you have set up the Firebase from your Android Studio, then that file will be automatically added to your project. However, since I have decided to do that manually, now I need to go back to the Firebase console, open up the project settings, scroll down below and select the Android icon. Then a new page will appear where we need to enter some information and then generate that Google Services JSON file. After we are done, copy that same file in the app module, but be sure to switch to a project view so that you can actually see the file. Perfect. And finally, let's test our authentication feature. Click the Google button, and one-tap sign-in will trigger the dialog. After we select our account and log in successfully, then a token ID will be generated, which will trigger a authentication with the Firebase. And after we associate that user ID with the RevenueCat SDK, then we will navigate to a home screen. There you go. Now go to the Firebase console and check the user tab. You will see that a new user has appeared successfully. Amazing. Alright, we are getting close. Now I'm going to display a Paywall UI in the new screen. We need to call a Paywall dialog composable function, and in the options builder we are passing a listener, but also a dismiss lambda that will lead us back to a home screen when we try to go back. Now let's run the application. In the home screen, click Purchase button to open up a Paywall screen. Voila! This is the new Paywall screen that we have already configured in the RevenueCat dashboard. We can choose either one-time purchase or a subscription. First, I'm going to choose a subscription. Also, note that since this is a testing environment, this subscription will last for 5 minutes and not 30 days. Click Subscribe button and let's see what happens. Okay, now go to the RevenueCat dashboard, open up the overview page, and check this sandbox data option in the top right corner to see the test data. We can see here a new item along with some basic information about it. Now click on that to see some additional customer information as well as the customer history. This looks really clean. Now if we go back, you will see that this customer ID is the same as the user ID that we can see in our Firebase console. Perfect. Next, let's open up our application and choose a one-time purchase option this time. Now go back, refresh the dashboard, and here is a new item. Also, if you check your email inbox, you will see a recipe from the Google Play. There are actually 2 different recipes since we have purchased 2 products. Also, if we wait around 5 to 7 minutes from the first subscription, you will notice that a new email will arrive informing us that we have resubscribed. Because in our subscription product in the Play console, we have specified that we want to automatically renew the subscription. You can always manually unsubscribe by opening your Google Play account. Next, open up a status screen where we are going to display an information about the purchase history of the user, as well as the information about whether it's currently subscribed or not. In this launched effect, we are calling getCustomerInfo function and updating the variable as well. That customer variable is later used to display an information in the UI. Now, let's run the application. Click this menu in the top right corner and choose Status Check. Great! Now we can see a purchase history as well as the information that the user is not currently subscribed to our product. Because, if you recall, a test subscription will last only for 5 minutes. So let's go back to the Paywall screen to subscribe once again. Awesome. Then go back to the status screen and you will see that the status has been updated. Perfect. The last thing that I want to show you in this video is how to integrate Firebase database with the RevenueCat SDK. Open up your dashboard and in the integrations section on the left side, click New. Scroll below until you find Firebase. Here we have two options, Firebase Analytics and the Firebase extension. I'm going to show you only the second option, but you can check the official RevenueCat documentation for the first one as well. Click Generate Shared Secret button, then go to Firebase console and choose Extensions. Here you need to search for a RevenueCat extension to install it. You will be notified that you may be charged a small amount of money on a monthly basis. And also, this extension uses some Firebase features that may also charge you if you exceed the free tier limit. Click Next, then scroll down below and enable Secret Manager and Artifact Registry. Click Next, then once again, and here I will just choose the location for now, and then later we will fill in those information about the names of the collections in which we want to store the data. Also, down below, paste that shared secret that we have generated from the RevenueCat dashboard and click Install. Perfect. After that, in the extension settings, we need to copy the webhook URL and paste that back into the RevenueCat dashboard. Then, open up the Firestore and create a new database. Choose a location of your choice and click Next. Then, click Enable. And now, go to the Rules tab, and here I'm going to paste the rules that only authenticated users will be able to interact with our database. Here you can see the names of the collections like events and customers. We will create both of them in a moment. Also, I have copied those rules from the official documentation, so be sure to check that as well. Let's create those two collections now. Then, go to the extension and specify those same collection names for events and customers. After the changes are saved, run the application. Make a subscription purchase because we have already made one-time purchase once. Go back to the Firebase Firestore and you will see that we have immediately received some data. We have a collection about the customer and also a collection about different events. And there you have it. We have covered all the steps of integrating this amazing in-app purchase library in our Android application. Comment down below and let me know if you have used this SDK before. If so, leave your honest opinion. And also, don't forget to like this video, but only if you find it helpful. Thank you for watching.